Alright, so in this video I'll be talking about what does osmosis mean and hypertonic, isotonic, and hypotonic solutions. What do they mean and their importance. So we're going to start with osmosis. And so generally osmosis is just the movement of molecules through a semi-permeable membrane into a region of a higher solute concentration, and mostly it's in the movement in the direction that tends to make the sides equal, to to make the solutes equal, um, an equal concentration on the two sides. Um, and so we're gonna start with isotonic solutions, and we here have we zoom in isotonic right here. Isotonic is a normal perfect balance. That means the outside pressure is equal to the inside pressure. It's not there's not too much particles inside the cell, neither there's too much particles outside. So isotonic would be in a normal and perfect world. And so basically, when two environments are isotonic, and the two are, what I mean by two environments is the outside and the inside of the cell. So when two environments are isotonic, the total molar concentration of dissolved solutes is the same. It's the same in both of them. And so the movement of water out of the cell is exactly balanced by the movement of water into the cell. That is isotonic. Moving on, so hypotonic. Hypotonic is when there's too much particle inside the cell and there's less outside. And hypotonic comes from the Greek word hypo, and what hypo means is under, and then tonos means stretching. So, see here we have a huge swollen red blood cell. These little particles are mostly inside of the cell and less are outside. And so in a hypotonic solution, the total molar connection of all dissolved solute particles is less than that of another solution. So less than that of the cell. Uh, um, so here the hypotonic solution shows this red blood cell about to pop. So basically that's not really a good thing. It's about to pop, and that'll be a really major problem if you have all your red blood cells popping. And so if concentrations of dissolved solutes are less outside than inside of the cell, then the concentration of water outside is correspondingly greater. So that's what's happening here. And when a cell is exposed to such hypotonic conditions, there is a net water movement into the cell, and that's what causes a hypotonic solution. And here, the third image, we have a hypertonic solution, also known as concentrated. And so this is exactly the opposite of a hypotonic solution. So hypertonic comes from the two words Greek, hyper and tonos. Hyper means over, and then tonos means stretching, as we said. And so in hypertonic solution, right here, in a hypertonic solution, the total molar concentration of all dissolved particles is greater than that of another solution, or greater than the concentration in a cell. So if concentrations of dissolved solutes are greater outside the cell, then the concentration of water outside is correspondingly lower. So as a result, the water inside the cell will flow outwards to attain an equilibrium, causing the cell here, our red blood cell, to shrink, and which is called a hypertonic. And as cells lose water, they lose the ability to function or divide. So that's really not a good thing. Hypertonic environments, such as concentrated brines or syrups, have been used since antiquity for food preservation, because microbial cells that would otherwise cause spoilage are dehydrated in these very hypertonic environments and are unable to function. They won't be able to function in this kind of situation. And this right here, we have a shrunken red blood cell in a hypertonic situation, a swollen red blood cell in a hypotonic situation, and here in this isotonic solution, there's a normal equal balance. Here, this is called an equilibrium. And so what the arrows indicate is the direction of the osmotic water movement. So here in this picture, it's showing that the water is moving outwards, and at the same time it's moving inwards, causing an equilibrium or an isotonic solution. Now, here in this middle picture, we see two arrows going inside. Now, as we stated, right here it says direction of osmotic water movement. So what the arrow suggests is where the water is moving, the direction of the water. So mostly the water here is following the arrow. It's moving inside the cell, making it a hypotonic, which is a swollen red blood cell. Here, swollen red blood cell about to pop. Now here we have a hypertonic solution, and both of the arrows are going up or outwards outside of the cell, causing a shrunken red blood cell or a hypertonic solution. Then, because if you have a big bubble and all of the air is coming out of it, it's gonna shrivel or pop. So, um, all of the in the bubble, all the air molecules are traveling out of the bubble, causing it to get smaller. Same thing is in this situation. Now, here in these pictures, we have other illustrations of the same concept: a hypotonic solution, an isotonic solution, and a hypertonic solution. Here you can see the cell is really shriveled and small and shrinking because most of the H2O is going out of it. Here in isotonic, there's a balance. It's perfectly normal. The H2O is going inside and outside at the same time. And here the hypotonic, that means it's about to pop. There's too much H2O going inside of the cell, causing it to be really swollen and about to pop. Same illustration here. Now, a hypotonic, an isotonic, and hypertonic all are different types of osmotic movements. These three categories fall under the basic concept called osmosis, and osmosis means the movement of water through a semi-permeable membrane. And what a semi-permeable membrane exactly means is that molecules can pass through and pass out. And right here, this is our membrane. As we talked in the previous video about cell walls, cell membranes, and what the function of a cell wall is and a cell membrane. And right here, we're just applying their functions. We're applying what they mean. And in isotonic here, there's the same amount inside and outside of particles. And here in hypotonic, we have mostly of the water molecules are going inside of the cell, and there's only one outside. And if you move to hypertonic, mostly are outside. As you see, they're scattered, they're strewn across that open field outside, and less are inside, causing the little red blood cell to shrivel. So that's basically what osmotic movements mean, what osmosis means, and yep, so there you have it. And osmosis is basically mostly what happens between cells. And